Hello, I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in other videos of mandolin, fiddle, improvisation, and many other musical subjects, click the subscribe banner below. And if you want to be notified when I post new videos, click the bell icon right next to it. What I thought I'd do in this video is maybe do a little bit of reviewing of what we've seen and give some ideas about maybe how you can practice some of this stuff, and especially how to practice improvising this stuff. So, the things we've seen so far in the video series are the free improv, and I think it's a really good thing to do to practice free improv at least for a few minutes every time you pick up your instrument. And the reason that I think that it is very valuable to do this is because every time you free improv, you'll get a bit better idea of kind of the things that you like to hear. Etc. Just play what you hear in your mind, or just kind of make up and noodle stuff, and you'll get a lot out of this eventually. Plus, eventually you'll train some things into your hands that you can use when you're improvising down the line. Okay, the next thing we covered in video number 2 was scale outlines. And really, scale outlines are good for when you need to get the sound of chords into your mind. Then you should use scale outlines of the chords to help you do that. The next thing we practiced was various things on the major scale. The straight major scale up and down. Etc. Thirds. Okay, those phrases are great to use for just little bits and pieces, maybe. Okay, things like that. So notice, that's how far I used it. And then I went to something else. All right. There is the thing I called 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, and then its opposite, 3, 2, 1, 3. Okay. We had triads, the little 3-note phrases, etc., and going up and down. Okay, then we had the reverse order of the triads, etc., going up and down, and then we had the 4-note pattern of the triads. And the 4-note pattern reverse. Okay. We had arpeggios. So remember, arpeggios are just the notes of the chord played individually instead of all together. And then, of course, we had several arpeggio patterns. Etc. Etc. For the arpeggio practice, there's several hornpipe fiddle tunes. lots of hornpipe arpeggios. Etc. Things like that. So those, learning some hornpipes is a really good thing to practice arpeggios with. But I would definitely suggest the patterns as well. Then there was the chord tone scale stuff, or what I call CTS. Remember, that removes one note from the major scale to line the notes of the chord up on the beat. Then, of course, the 4 licks. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Sorry. Should complete that one. Okay. So my suggestion is now just take a little bit of one phrase and think of what that phrase would sound like. So just for the heck of it, let's just take the descending third starting on the G note on the E string to right there. Then let's take something else. Let's take like the chord tone scale going down to G. So now put those two together. Okay, you could do it shorter, the pattern. Okay. Now let's try that and add. Let's go into chord tone scale number 1. Let's do the descending thirds thing first. Okay, that's what it sounds like. Okay, so now let's start on the D note on the A string. Let's play a descending third. Let's play the descending chord tone scale, and when we reach G, let's just do a straight up arpeggio that lands on this G. Okay. Now let's do the triads, up 2 of them from open G, and so that would be, and then let's go down to D and up the scale to a B note. Missed that one. Let me do that again. There we go. Got to keep the chord tone scale intact. Now I played the E note going up instead of the F sharp note, but that one note miss, you just keep it going. Anytime you make a mistake playing an improvised thing, keep it going. The one really big thing is learning how to play through wrong notes into right notes. Just get back to the chord tone on the beat as quick as you can. Okay? So let's do something else. Let's take an arpeggio into chord tone lick number 2. So let me just start on this B note, go down an arpeggio, and go into lick number 2. Okay, let me do that again. All right. So there, I just kind of went into one of my own phrases. So once again, the arpeggio. Then, because that note is on the beat, right there I can start into lick number 2. Then maybe here, let me go the thirds. Down the chord tone scale. Arpeggio up. Go up to the next arpeggio note, and then how about lick number 3? Okay, so you can think of them like that as you're doing things. All right, and just kind of put things together like that. Etc. See, I just put a bunch of different things together. All right. The next, so making little phrases together like that, and then listening to what they do and listening to whether you like them or not. If you don't like it, make up something else. All right. So that's definitely one thing I would do fairly regularly. So it's like you're composing little phrases together. You're combining 2 and sometimes 3 phrases of these little parts of all the stuff I've shown you and putting them together. All right, now I would take a metronome, put it on real slow, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and improv eighth notes, seeing how many of these things you can get in there. If you make a mistake, don't stop, see if you can keep going and correct it. Okay, so I'll just give a little example here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that just gives an idea. I'm just kind of playing all against a G chord sound in my mind and using kind of all those things that we did. Now, every once in a while I put in my own thing too. Okay, so I would definitely practice free improv and then without any kind of timing thing, thinking of the short little phrases that come from the stuff that we've worked at in the videos and putting them together. Then I would also put on a metronome really slow and practice along with it. Okay. As slow as I was running that metronome, a play-along program doesn't really make a lot of sense. But if you go faster, definitely we could do a play-along program. So right now I'm going to move over to my computer and put on Band in a Box fairly slow with just a G chord. So one of the things I'm going to do with this while I'm playing with Band in a Box is I'm going to put in some of my own phrases too. You can definitely put in your own phrases that you've kind of got out of the free improvising. And you know, you're not being listened to by anybody. When you do this, you shouldn't be afraid to take wild chances and just see what happens, because sometimes those turn into things that are really cool. So you're going to hear me playing some real outside kind of things every once in a while, just to as a demonstration of, well, why don't I just try something? Okay. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so I was just using various things that we've covered in these videos, and I was using some of my own other stuff that I've, learned over 40 plus years of playing. I was doing a bit of that, but I was still mostly using the things that I've covered in these videos. One thing I want to stress is making a good solo is art. It's like a painter making a painting that the whole world likes to look at. That's art. Nobody can teach you the art and how to make something that everybody wants to see or everybody wants to hear in case of music. I can't teach you how to make a logical solo. You've got to discover that on your own. What a teacher can do is give you tools that are used in making something artistic. But it's basically up to you to try to figure out how you can make something that's artistic. Okay? So, best of luck, keep at it, and it gets easier the more you do it. I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching.